Right, here it is, the D-Bot N10 Plus. Now, if you've read many of my reviews, you'll know that I'm a big fan of this category of tech, the robot vacuum. And you might also know that I've reviewed a few different D-Bots by Ecovacs now. And a lot of them look pretty much like this. So yeah, it's hard to immediately see what's different, what's great about this one. Like many of them, we've got this removable mopping plate here, so you just fill that tank up with water. It's got a mopping pad on the bottom there, and you just...
Mopping plate has been installed.
And once it knows that's installed, it will not go on your carpet, it'll only mop the hard floors. When you take it off, it will vacuum everywhere, of course. But some of the differences with this are to do with things like battery life. It's going to vacuum for up to 3 hours, believe it or not. So that's pretty amazing. The suction power has been dialed up a notch as well. There are a new kind of filter in there, and the dust bag in the auto emptying station, which I'll show you in a minute, that's been redesigned and modified as well. But the greatest feature probably of the D-Bot N10 Plus, if you're shopping around for a vacuum, is it's under $1,200. $1,199 is the RRP on this. So if I can just show you, if you haven't seen one of these before, if we just flip her over, so there's this mopping plate for you there. Unlike a lot of vacuums, you've got a side brush on two sides. Some only have one, and it's made out of this sort of synthetic fine stuff like this. But I find that tends to not get tangled up. Sometimes some of them have sort of rubbery ones that get all caught up with things, and this one doesn't seem to get caught up quite so much. But what is unavoidable for robot vacuums, or at least any of the ones I've tried, is the brush head. And as you can see there, I live in a house with people with hair, and that's what happens after a while. I mean, it happens with normal vacuum cleaners as well. But the difference with the Ecovacs D-Bots is that many of them, when you open up the lid here, that's the dustbin in there, that auto empties in the auto empty station, but they've also got this cool little tool. So it's got a little brush that you can, brush dust and stuff away with, but it's also got this cool little blade on it here, and that is designed specifically, so if we just take that off and pop that brush out, I'll put Mr. Robot down there for now. So as you can see, that's not working, is it? It's not going to do anything. But this brush is designed with this little groove, and you can put that little knife thing through there just like that, and off the gunge comes. And so you can clean all that stuff off in next to no time at all. It's a very sharp blade on there, and you just run that through. So they've given you the tool to fix the problem that they've sort of created with this robot vacuum technology. So yeah, in a matter of seconds you can clean that brush, pop it back in, and away we go. So let's do that. Let's see the D-Bot N10 Plus in action. Right, so here we have the D-Bot N10 Plus safely tucked away in its charging station, or its auto empty station. So if we just have a little closer look at that, you'll see that, so there's just like a vacuum cleaner bag in there. This is basically sort of another vacuum cleaner, the auto empty station. So when it comes in there, it empties itself into that bag, and when that gets full, you just empty it completely sort of dust free, like you would if it was a vacuum cleaner with a bag. And that lasts, quite a long time, depending on how much you're using the D-Bot, of course. So anyway, we can fire it off a number of ways. We can schedule it. We can just push the go button on the robot vacuum itself, or what's most fun, of course, is to use the app. So here you see it's made a little map the first time it cleaned, which it refers to now, automatically dividing things into its own rooms, and then away it goes. Right, so as you can see here, the D-Bot N10 Plus is very low profile, so it can go under furniture a lot easier than I can. And that means if it's in mopping mode, it can mop under there as well, of course. So, you know, no more dust under those chairs. And you see it's very clever at figuring out where it can and where it can't go. Now the Dbot N10 Plus will automatically empty itself when it's finished cleaning, although it is recommended, and there is now a feature that if, like me, you live in a house with pets and people with hair, you might want to empty the bin a little bit more often than a full clean, given that I've got a large home and lots of people with hair. So you can set it to empty itself a little bit more regularly throughout its cleaning cycle. So here it is parking itself to do just that.
Starting charging. Emptying the dustbin.
So as you can see, it doesn't quite work, does it? So I've just taken the dustbin out, and as you can see, it didn't stay on the stand and empty all the dust from the dustbin. Now it will do that when it stays on the stand to charge. So this seems to be a bit of a glitch. Maybe it's something that they'll fix with a software update. Now, the thing that Dbots do really well is mopping, which is so great when you have a dog bringing in those wet muddy footprints all winter long. So what it's doing here is it vacuums at the front, and then the mopping pad follows along behind, vibrating along behind there, and as you can see, leaving very little water in its wake. So the floors are almost dry straight away, which is much better than a manual mop, and it does a really good job.